today in Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone. We are getting very ready for the expo this week, this Thursday. There's so much going on. I just laid out the map of the 37 organizations that will be joining us. There's so many different activities. I'm very excited. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to take a little look back with Mayor Concannon at some of the things that happened last weekend. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, Samantha. How's it going?
Good. We had a lovely festival on the Common. The weather cooperated. It was chilly, but no rain, no snow, just kind of
Yep.
nice chilly air and lots of different activities. I know that there were some new activities this year. We had the train, which seemed to be a big hit.
Yeah.
We had a 3D camera, which was also a lot of fun and lots of treats. Did you enjoy any of the food that people were selling as fundraisers?
Actually, I did have some hot chocolate, which was good, but I was so busy interacting with people and just kind of checking everything out. I really didn't have much to eat. We actually went out to dinner later on that night. Had a nice dinner downtown here at Tremonti. But no, I really didn't partake of all the treats, but I still had a great time. And as you said, it was chilly, but it was as it was described to me, it was seasonal. That's what you'd
Right.
expect the end of November, beginning of December. No wind, no rain, no snow, and it was a great crowd. It was my first time reading the night before Christmas. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And 30 years, now we're on to the next 30.
I love it. Anne Marie did a very nice job holding flashlights and microphone for you. And
Yes, she was multitasking so I could read the words. We need large print next year, I think.
that was really fun. I love seeing all the kids on the steps and singing and all the different groups.
Yep.
There's a lot of musical talent here in Woburn. Sometimes I forget that.
This sure is. And I was a member of the Lions group. We sang some Christmas carols, and I think we did all right. I wouldn't put us at the top of the list of the most talented groups there, but I think we held our own and sounded pretty good.
You guys sounded great and it was nice and festive. We had a really nice time. One of the other things that happened this last week, which was a good one, is we had a complete outdoor fire ban that has been lifted because of the cooler weather and more humid air. We've been
Yeah.
able to lift that. We still have, the seasonal fire bans in place.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, we were experiencing a drought, and to a certain extent, we still are. So there was a lot of caution about outdoor fires. A lot of communities around us experienced some wildfires, some brush fires. We were fortunate. Our fire department assisted a lot of those communities, but we did okay here in Woburn. We got a little bit of rain, and as you said, the other conditions, the humidity, et cetera, are in our favor now. But we would still urge caution. We're not completely out of the drought, and now's the time of year with a lot of dead branches, dead trees, et cetera. A fire could really get going. We've actually had a couple of house fires as of late, unfortunately. So I think it should be at the top of everybody's mind to just be a little more cautious. We have all the Christmas lights and we have candles and we have all the gatherings. It'd be really, really a shame if we had to experience any more of those damaging fires. So we would just ask people to again use their common sense and be careful about any type of fire sources.
Yeah, absolutely. Good reminder for all of us. Um, Now, as we look forward a little bit on this week's City Council agenda, that we're going to talk about tax classifications. I think I know what that is, but I'm not sure most people do, and I'm not sure I'm even right. So I
Yep.
thought it'd be a good opportunity. I know we've talked in the past about tax rates being set.
Yeah.
What happens in this particular City Council meeting?
So that's what this is. This is the annual setting of the tax rate for the fiscal year 2025. Most people are aware that it's based on the assessed value of the property, dollars per $1,000 worth of value. And it is set by the city council. There's recommendations made by the Board of Assessors and the assessing department. Essentially, what it is we set a budget at the beginning of the fiscal year in July 1 based on how much money we believe we need to spend here in the city. And of course, that means how much money we need to raise from the taxpayers. And after all of that is sent to the state for review and all the math is reviewed and ensured to be correct, Now it's time to set the actual rate based on the total assessed value of the property here in the city of Woburn. So the council essentially sets what they call a factor, and that factor drives the rate. So the assessing department, the entire financial team, the auditor, the treasurer, collector, have all been working with the state on getting all the numbers approved. So now we're ready to present some options to the city council. That'll happen tomorrow night during their meeting. And a lot of it has to do with the sharing of the tax burden between commercial and residential. And the state law allows for a certain shifting of that burden, weighing more towards commercial and in favor of residential. And the city council has the option of using the maximum shift allowed by law or something less than that. Woburn has historically used the maximum, and I believe that's what the council will be considering tomorrow night. At the end of their discussion and deliberation, they will settle on a factor that will in turn drive the tax rate for this current fiscal year.
Great, thank you. And I know we've purposely scheduled the next town hall on December 11th after this meeting, so people would have an opportunity to ask questions about that. We know that affects a lot of the property owners here in the community and local businesses as well. What other things do you expect might come up during that town hall meeting?
I think a lot of it is going to be the tax rate and the tax burden. It's no secret that this past July 1st, we approved a budget that included an increase, a significant increase in the school department that is now driving the discussions we're having on the tax rate. So I expect there'll be some conversation with the residents about how we got here, what the budget is comprised of, what's the actual impact to the average residential homeowner here in Woburn. So I think there'll be plenty of back and forth about that topic. I think there'll probably be some conversations about the recent changes with recycling and how we handle that in the city, as well as the upcoming changes to trash collection. Those are always some hot topics. We also hear about things like paving streets, and I wasn't on the list this year. Is there a chance I'll be on the list next year? Valid concerns that people have about whether their street is on the list, whether their needs are being met. We always get a few of those. Other than that, I don't know. Those are the big three I think we usually get, and then there's always one or two surprises from a resident. I try to answer as many of those questions as I can during the town hall, but there's been a couple of occasions where we had to go back and get a more firm answer for somebody, and we always make sure we touch base with them afterwards. So I guess that's what I would expect to be the primary movers on the agenda, and then we'll see what else comes up.
That sounds great. I look forward to that discussion. You did mention recycling. We did happen today to have a meeting with Waste Management, talk a little bit. We won't dive into a lot of detail, but there's a couple of things that I thought were interesting that came out of that discussion. One was prior to rolling out the new recycling carts and automation, we actually had declining volume of recycling year over year, but we've
Yeah.
actually seen a measurable increase since we've sent out the automation.
Yeah, there's been a couple of months of data now showing that we are back on the increase in terms of the amount of recycling we're doing as a community, which is a good thing. Obviously, one of the motivations for making this move was to see if we could increase and be a little more efficient with our recycling. Obviously, the other motivations were to save some money on the contract. So yeah, it was good to see that we're trending in the right direction. We only had a couple of months of data, so we'll watch that closely, but hopefully that is an outcome that we get a little better at recycling as a community, and we do our part.
The other thing I thought was really interesting, and I know we don't have the firm number yet, they're still working on calculating that, but the number of people who have leased a second recycling cart because they couldn't fit in the one that was supplied to everyone was really tiny,
Yeah.
which I hope means that we sized it correctly and we're meeting the recycling needs of most people. Obviously, time will tell a little. It's only been a couple months, but it's an
Yeah.
early indicator.
Yeah, that was one of the concerns at the beginning when we were rolling this out. Will we have enough space It's tough to gauge one family to the next, one neighborhood to the next. Um, but yeah, it appears that most people are able to uh, get their recycling accommodated with the bin we've given them. Again, if you need additional bins, by all means, reach out to the Board of Health. We can get those to you. But I think early on, what we're realizing is despite the trepidation, the concern of the unknown when this first started, I think people are settling in and they're finding that the bins can accommodate their needs. And as you know, we talked a little bit today with our partners from Waste Management about the sizing of the bin for trash. That's the next change that rolls out in July. And we want to make sure that we're learning lessons and we're doing it correctly and that we're gauging the correct size of the bin for the trash as well. So those conversations continue. We have a little more time before we have to decide that.
Excellent. Thank you. Pastor Bill will be up in a minute, and we're going to talk a little bit about gun violence vigil. That's this Sunday. But I know you'll be making a few remarks. Wanted to give you a chance to kind of just comment in general about what being at this vigil and why it's valuable to do for our community.
Yeah, this is it's a somber day. It's a time when we pause and reflect on the lives lost and the impact on those who are left behind. Um, you know, the use of firearms and the commission of crime and other horrible outcomes is a plague to this nation. And it's not something we in Woburn we don't experience it all by ourselves. We can't solve it all by ourselves. But it is at a time for at least to show support to community members, Wouburnites, our friends, our family, our neighbors who have had to deal with this issue. Just show some support and let them know that, we're here for them and we understand it's a serious problem. It's like so many of the things that happen in our country. They're national or even international issues that impact our local community. And I think we're really just trying to do our part at our level, but acknowledging that there's a lot more work to be done, at the national and even the state level.
Thank you so much for joining me as always.
Thank you, Samantha.
Excellent. Next up, we have Pastor Bill Hoch from United Methodist Church, who is hosting the gun vigil. And I know this is really a time for us we're not talking, this isn't about policy. This is really just about the people whose lives have been affected by it and being there for them, like we do many things, and making sure we as a community show we support them. We've not been immune. There have been law enforcement officers who have been hurt. There are residents who have been hurt. This is our chance to get together and honor them. So welcome.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here today.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about what will be happening on Sunday.
So we're looking forward to the vigil on Sunday. This is something we've done for a number of years now that we've hosted at the church, but it's really a community event. This is put together by a number of different folks in our community who are advocates for gun safety and want to see a reduction in gun violence, locally and nationally. And so the vigil itself involves some music, time of reflection with music. We remember the elementary school students and teachers who died in the Sandy Hook shooting, which occurred on December 14th in 2012. So this vigil is part of a nationwide remembrance of the Sandy Hook school shooting that happened 12 years ago. So we will have the names of the people who died in that shooting and also of folks locally who've been impacted by gun violence. We'll have students from Woburn High School. The Embrace students will be there, and Eileen Mira will be there, the mom of Shannon Lee Mira, who died from gun violence, and she will share with us memories of her daughter and some of the work she's been doing to fight against gun violence in our community. And we're always glad Mayor Concannon will be joining us. We're glad to have him say some words, and Representative Haggerty will be there and he'll say some words. So it's going to be a good event for people to gather We will light candles in remembrance of those who've died and been injured by gun violence, and we will hear from people who've experienced it. One of the things that's amazed me of doing this a number of years now is just learning about people in my life who I didn't know were impacted by gun violence and hearing their stories. So, unfortunately, it really is something that impacts a lot of families, a lot of people, even when we don't know it.
Yeah, that's very true. There's definitely some folks who I've met attending over the years as well, who I didn't realize had had a loved one who was hurt or killed, and it's not a happy occasion, but it's comforting to be able to just stand with the folks who are left behind and know that and show them that we care.
And that's definitely, our goal in this event. Like you said, it's not advocacy. This is remembering and standing with people in a time to remember. And part of remembering difficult times involving gun violence is to hope that they never happen again. But it is a vigil to remember what has happened and to bring people together around this issue.
Excellent. Thank you. Remind us what time it is.
So it's going to be at 4 o'clock. It's on Sunday. The Woburn United Methodist Church is 523 Main Street. We have limited parking, so we always suggest people park down by the restaurant or one of the lots on Main Street. So it'll be 4 o'clock, sort of 4 to 5, maybe a little more, and it's up on the second floor in the sanctuary of the church.
Excellent. Thank you for hosting and thank you for catching us up about what's going to be happening.
Thanks, Samantha. Also, just to add, it is an accessible building. So we have even though we're on the second floor, there's an elevator. So everybody should come and we'll be able to get into the space.
Thank you for reminding us. I also want to just mention that I know the church is doing some significant construction. You've been United Methodist Church, of course, hosts church services, but you also host open to community a lot of things, including the dwelling place, which is 3 times a week hot meals for those who are in need, and a number of different kinds of meetings and events like this, where you welcome people from across the community in. I know you're currently fundraising. I know it's not the topic of our conversation, but while I have you, I just wanted to give people an opportunity if you talk a little bit about what's happening there and where people can contribute to that.
Yeah, thank you. It turns out when you have a building that was built in 1891, it occasionally needs a little fixing up. And so we have, over the course of the last year, identified some termite damage, some old water damage, just some parts of the building that are, from 1891 need to be repaired. So we're doing some structural work, which is not cheap. So we are doing some fundraising because it really is a community building. We make the space available, to groups like AA, English language classes, student groups. So we've got a GoFundMe that people can donate to. The church has a Venmo account where people can, drop off donations. And, part of my goal in the fundraising is, $5 from everybody who's ever looked at the church. I mean, we really would be excited with broad support, and it doesn't take a lot. If enough people support us, with small donations, we'll be able to get this project done. So, and we've been grateful for the support we've gotten from the community, and we're going to stay at it and, keep the building going for another 100+ years, another 120 years, of being the heart of Woburn's community and bringing people together.
Excellent. Well, thank you for always making everybody feel welcome there. I've had the pleasure of coming to many variety of events to helping serve at the dwelling place. And even when my dad was in the hospital, just coming to a service or two and sitting quietly in the back, and just getting some comfort from being around other people. So I'm grateful for everything that you do for us across the city and look forward to seeing people on Sunday.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it as well.
Thank you. Next up, we're going to talk to Lisa and Laura about another really important part of our community and an organization that does an incredible lot of good here, the American Legion. Welcome, ladies.
Hello. Hi.
I'm so glad to have you. The American Legion recently hosted the distribution of the Council of Social Concern Thanksgiving food baskets, where it's an amazing feat, actually. It's like completely engineered. They've got this down, but hundreds of meals are given out in a day, and it's incredible work that happens there. And we're grateful to the Legion for hosting that, as well as many other things. Tell us a little bit about the American Legion for those who might not be as familiar.
Okay, so the Legion Post in Woburn is the George Campbell Post 101 was named after George Campbell, who died in World War One. So anyone who is
A veteran.
a veteran
Yeah.
from any of the different branches, Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, and now Space Force, as long as they were a veteran who served and had an honorable discharge. And
One day.
was a veteran for served for at least one day is eligible.
That
join.
seems like a fair bar to set.
Yeah. So that's the minimum requirement for a veteran. So we have veterans themselves. Then there's the auxiliary, which includes men and women, anybody, spouse, parent, grandparent, mother, sister, grandfather, all relatives are eligible. And then the sons of the American Legion have a direct line to their father or grandfather, so they're eligible to join. And we also have members who are veterans or sons who have a special interest in motorcycles. So that they call themselves the Riders Chapter. So that kind of encompasses all the different groups within that umbrella.
Well, we were very happy to see the riders participate in our Veterans Day parade and ceremony on the Common. It's always lovely to see them there, and I know they do a lot of good work in our community as well. We're grateful for that. And the Legion, one of the things the Legion does in supporting the community is doing some fundraising. Tell us a little bit about how some of the funds that are raised are used.
Well, we're the auxiliary group of the American Legion. And one of the things we were blessed with this year is we had a club that used to host a weekly dance at the South Italian Club.
Yep.
And they no longer had a place to go, so they approached us, which we thought was a great opportunity to try to get the auxiliary back up and going. And we sponsor them once a month. And it's a great group of people that come in and they dance the rumba, they dance the waltz, they dance the cha-cha.
Okay.
And single, married, they all participate, they all dance with each other, line dancing. It's been a real lot of fun. And we're trying to get it out to more people because it's just a great night out. It's on a Friday night. We have future dates to share with you. And it's from 6 p.m. until like 11 p.m. So it's a wonderful event that the auxiliary has taken on and put on. Our next one is going to be December 13th, which is a Christmas dance, and we're including a buffet for $30 per person. We're almost sold out on that, which is going to have quite the little buffet for them. They'll have Vinny, the DJ, that will be doing the music, and Santa Claus will be there to visit.
That sounds really fun. And I got to tell you, after dancing the
Totally.
night away till 11, people must sleep really well after that. So that's
The age
great.
bracket is remarkable in this group, and you can't believe how active they are. It's wonderful to see them out there dancing and having a great time.
I'd love to hear that. It's wonderful things, and that sounds really fun. And I know you don't just hold dances, there's other fun things you have going on as well.
We do. We have the vets do the Vets for Blues. And we have two events that are coming up on them, and those events are going to be in February and April. We usually have those events down at the Legion. They have it once a year at the Country Club, but that's a wonderful organization to participate and go to too. The music is fabulous. They sponsor about 3 different bands, and it's only $10 admittance, and you can bring your own food. It's a cash bar. They have a 50-50, and they have raffles, which is a great way to raise money, and they're doing their best at being able to get these donations out. Some of the donations that we're going towards are helping troops of Mass, iPods for veterans, Friends of Woburn veterans, scholarship funds we're big participants in, Tunnels to Towers, Service Dog Project. They have that once a year, the riders, and you should see the beautiful animals that they take in and how they train them and what they do for everybody. It's a great event to come to. And we do have a post101.org, that you can go on and you can see the different events that are coming up in the American Legion as well. But it's been a great honor. Would love to get new members. Would love to keep the members that we have to renew. And The Blues is a great organization to get into. We have the Sals, we have the Riders. One of the stipulations with the Riders is they do not allow scooters. You have to own a motorcycle. So they wouldn't let Laura and I in.
No.
Well, it sounds great, and I know those are all really worthy causes and wonderful things. If someone wanted to become a member, and do they just go to the website and check it out, or is there someone specific they should reach out to?
They could contact
William
William
Murray
Murray, and he does the memberships.
for the veterans, and Jack Garrity does does the Sals. Lisa V and myself, I take care of the auxiliary, and Bruce, I think it's Bruce
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez takes care of the Riders.
It's fantastic.
And
Thank
that
you.
is all on our website.
So again,
Perfect.
the website is post101.org.
We should be able to remember that. I like that. Nice and
Yeah.
easy. And Jen, our producer, of course, will make sure that's on the screen as well for folks to see. I'm so glad that you joined me. It sounds like you've said some great things. A very nice gift to give yourself might be a membership or to go check out one of the dances and things. I'm assuming, but I don't like to assume, so I'm going to ask if somebody's not a member, can they can still attend the dances? And I know
Dance is
the
open to the
blues
public.
events are open to the public as well, right?
Yeah, and the Blues for Veterans nights are open to the public also.
It's just membership that you have to have all the little red tape.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you for doing all the things that you do to make our community better, to support the veterans who live here and who serve. We're super grateful for that, and I know we have a really active and engaged group of residents who care a lot about veterans and their success and making them feel welcomed and all the things that we might be able to do for them. So when you've got the spring schedule, come on back, ladies. We'll have you back on, and we'll talk about some new things that are coming. And in the meantime, we encourage people to go out there and join one of the upcoming dances and musical events. They're a lot of fun.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you as well. And Woburn, as always, please continue to take good care of each other.